The Silver Arrows have a very difficult situation on their hands. Where do they go from here? Hello, and welcome to my channel. I'm your host. The Bahrain Grand Prix is over, and while there is still a lot of the 2024 season ahead, the Mercedes team isn't in the position they wanted to be in. Lewis Hamilton isn't there to save them anymore. So things might get worse. How bad was their first race? Can they do something to be competitive? Is this the end of an era for the team? These questions and many more will be answered in today's episode, so please subscribe and watch until the end. Let's go through the facts. The W15 is slower than anticipated. Russell was the third fastest driver in qualifying. He was briefly in third place in the race, but he ultimately dropped to fifth. Then Hamilton came in seventh. There were no issues with either car, but they simply weren't quick enough. Now let's talk about the causes. Hamilton's car had problems with the brakes, the seat, the steering wheel, and he couldn't fight for anything. Russell, on the other hand, was briefly able to battle for third place. His Mercedes didn't feel as if it was sliding. He claimed he was challenging the Red Bulls by having everything under control. It appeared as if the vehicle was unable to keep up with the pace, but it was sufficient to earn him fourth place, which is an achievement for a team that has never won at this circuit. But this isn't about celebrating small victories. We're talking about a team that is currently stuck. Their worst fears have come true. They're not closer to Red Bull or Ferrari. They're farther away than they were the previous year. And they've lost their best driver to Ferrari in 2025. They have to fix things quickly. But how? There is no easy answer to this question. You don't improve a car by making minor adjustments. They've attempted the simple fixes, and they haven't worked. They'll have to make significant changes. Let's have a look at the key points for improvement for the Mercedes team. Cooling. Russell stated that when you follow another car for an extended period, the sensors overheat. They're just different than the ones we had previously. It's unclear what he's referring to, whether it's the layout or the sensors themselves. They appear to be using the same ones as last year. In any case, they must improve this if they want to compete. At the moment, they are limited to the number of laps they can run in a certain formation because the sensors overheat and they have to pull away from the car in front. This is detrimental to qualifying and race strategy. Then there's the tyres. Mercedes' tyre management appears to be inadequate. Russell struggled with tyre degradation throughout the weekend. The soft tyre used in Q3 was extremely quick, but it was very fragile and didn't last long. The medium tyre was also too slow for the rain. They were unable to complete all of the intermediate stints without pitting. The Red Bulls and Ferraris were able to do this. That is critical for the race, and the Mercedes drivers had to pit an extra time. Then there's the setup. Mercedes appears to have brought a car that was better suited to the hotter temperatures. When the temperature drops, the grip drops, and the Mercedes cars struggle. When the Red Bulls and Ferraris got closer to the top, they began to pick up the pace. Then there's the car's philosophy. And finally, there's the team's morale. After years of dominance, they've had a taste of what it's like to be a contender. Winning the championship was a foregone conclusion, and the last time they fought for the title was in 2020. Since then, they've fallen to 6th, 5th, and now they're back to 4th or 5th place. Their rivals are now further ahead than ever. They're not just fighting among themselves, they're also battling with other teams. They're caught in a numbers game and they aren't performing well. So where do they go from here? Who knows? How do you change a car that has been designed in the wrong direction for 3 years? How do you change a team that has become accustomed to failing year after year? How do you deal with the loss of your greatest driver, who is also your most prominent figurehead? The task is monumental. They can't keep doing what they've been doing because it's not working. Trying the same thing over and over and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. They must break free from the shackles of the past, discard the baggage of the previous concepts, and take a risk. The chances of success are slim, but they have little to lose. They aren't competing for the championship, at least not yet. They should go all in on development and try to make a quantum leap with their concept. But it's a risky strategy that could take several races to pay off. Now here's my opinion. I think Toto Wolff needs a trusted advisor, someone he can rely on to tell him the truth and guide him in the right direction. I think he's surrounded by yes-men who share his beliefs. Maybe James Allison could be that guy, but he seems to be completely focused on the project he's working on. which is rumored to be a radical concept for the 2026 season. That's a whole other story. Toto needs someone who can help him manage the current crisis, someone who can bring a fresh perspective and help him see the issues more clearly. Someone like Alonso or Vettel, but they're happy where they are. Mercedes has to make a choice. Are they just going to go through the motions until Hamilton returns? Are they going to continue developing the W15 with the goal of being competitive in 2025? Or are they going to pursue a radical concept for 2026? Because that is truly the last chance saloon. If the new regulations fail to reignite the team's competitiveness, they will have to rebuild from scratch. And that could take years. The consequences of failure are too great to ignore. Mercedes has never gone this long without winning a championship. They've always found a way to bounce back and win again. But this time it's different. They've lost their greatest asset, and they must adapt to a new reality. What do you think? Will Mercedes be able to turn things around, or is this the beginning of the end for them? Let me know in the comments. That's it for today. Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and like the video. See you next time.